Hey there, I'm Han.
And I'm Kat, and we're Brews and Reviews. So you may be wondering why we've had a bit of an absence, why we both look like messes.
I mean, I look like a mess, she looks like a goddess, but there's me like...
I mean, this is what I wore to work today, and I feel a bit like... ugh.
I mean, if I could have gone to work in my PJs today, that would have happened.
So we had a little break after our Mammoth readathons that we did. Yeah.
I generally think I booked myself out.
Yeah, I think I did a bit as well. It was quite stressful, but in like a good way. But then,
Yeah.
like, honestly, Sunday, the last day of the BookTubeAthon, we were both just like...
I couldn't pick up a book, I didn't want to look at a book.
We were so antisocial that day. We like couldn't even sit in the same room as each other. We were like,
I was like,
I like you, hello, good morning, see you later.
Like, I generally couldn't be doing with any human contact or anything.
No, we were just a little mentally exhausted,
Yeah.
I think.
But the thing is, I couldn't even focus on anything. I couldn't watch a series or anything. I literally sat there and just listened to music and just stared out into space. That's how bad it was. Like, I was proper just nothing.
I mean, to be fair, on that Sunday I did like write out an entire plot for a book.
She started writing another story even though she's still got 2 on the go.
Listen, don't control my mental plot bunnies. They spring out of the ground like daisies. This is why we've taken so long to bring you our Biannual Bibliothon, BookTubeAthon and July wrap-ups. So we're going to combine all three and give them to you now, and hopefully this won't be too long of a video, even though we've just rambled on for ages anyway. Okay, so this may be kind of cheating a little bit, given that I actually finished 2 books on the 1st of July. I mean, one of them I pretty much read on the 1st of July, but the other one I had just like the end 100 pages. So the first book that I finished this month was Clockwork Princess by Sandra Clare. Yeah, to be fair, actually, I really enjoyed this book. I can't remember what I gave it on Goodreads. It feels like so long ago because we read so many books this month.
I feel like you might have given it 4.
Okay, I either gave it a 4 or 5 stars. The ending of this book actually made me like Will Herondale more than I did. I still don't love him. I've still got a lot of problems with him, but yeah. There are also just other things, and I did cry, even though... You
can't help it.
Yeah. I didn't think I would. Everyone was like, oh, you're gonna cry? And I was like, nah, I'll be fine. And then I cried. Like, a lot.
Emotional wreck.
I sent you some Snapchats of me being like... I don't even use Snapchat.
I know! That's how bad it was. She needed to document this.
So the second book that I finished earlier in the month was Titus Andronicus by William Shakespeare. I read it on an ebook because they're free on Amazon, and I was like, oh, okay, I can read that. And I was just in the mood for a bit of Shakespeare. I mean, this book was okay. Well, this play was okay. I mean, lots of people die. I mean, usually they do in tragedies, but it wasn't my favourite of Shakespeare's works. It didn't actually have as much going on mentally as I would have liked it to.
I remember you telling me about this one. Is this one where, like, he has loads of sons and they all keep dying or something?
Yeah.
Ah, see, I remember it.
Yeah. And then he kills one of them. And then, well, I shan't go into it, but if anybody knows what happened to the Frey sons in Game of Thrones, it's rather similar to that.
I didn't read as many books as Catty this month. I was a bit slow.
No, you were really busy with work.
Yeah, like, work has been absolutely hectic lately. So, the book, I mean, I read one book and then started another. So, the book that I read and finished was A Torch Against the Night by Sabra Tahir. And it's the sequel to An Ember in the Ashes. I keep on forgetting. I get confused between the two. I want to like mix 2 titles up.
An Ember in the Night.
Yeah,
A Torch Against the Ashes.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the first one more, but what I liked about it is that it, bam, literally, first page, straight into the action. It's like you haven't missed anything, and it's all throughout it. It doesn't let you guard down, do you know what I mean? It's always like non-stop, bam, bam, bam. You're never bored, or it's very quick paced, but not too quick that it rushes. You know, it's generally just quite perfect, really, and I still love a life.
And because of this Elias fascination of Hannah's, picked up An Emperor in the Ashes.
Yeah.
And I do totally get what you mean about that being like non-stop.
Yeah.
This is very relentless.
Yeah.
Like, it's harrowing and like it is very deep and dark.
It is.
It kind of bogs you down a little bit. I read this book in a day, so I mean that says something about it. It says that it's really good. But I feel like because I read it in a day, it might have been a little bit too heavy for me, which is why I only gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Like, it felt a little bit too much, and I think that is genuinely because I read it in a day.
Yeah. I can see why you'd think that though, because it
bogs you down, and
Yeah.
like,
I know.
these people go through so much crap.
Yeah.
But I did really enjoy it. I like that Leia is like kind of wimpy at the beginning, and she's kind of annoying, but I do really like Elias as well. Like, I can see why you like him.
Not.
Yeah.
Like-
And I love Helene. Helene is a character that I just really like and like feel for. So yeah. After that, I was feeling like I wanted a bit of a change of pace. I thought maybe because I'd bogged myself down in that a little bit too much, that I need something different. Maybe I needed to get out of the YA frame of mind. So I picked up The Creeper by Tanya Carver, which is a crime thriller. Please excuse the absolutely awful sticker mark on the front. I'm sure all of you know the absolute horror of not being able to scratch the damn
Maybe in
sticker
a
off.
book because you've got a sticker mark on it.
I mean, who does that?
Devastating.
So, yeah. I quite like the beginning of this book being that someone's in your house, someone's watching you and like leaving you, and you can't get people to believe you. I like that. I think it's creepy. If there was someone in your house or like things were moving and you were like, what the hell is happening? That's creepy. Perhaps it's just me, but so I got really sucked into it and I liked it. I think I would have liked it a lot more if I had read the first book in this series before.
Wasn't it the first?
Nope, didn't realise that when I bought it. It's the second.
Wow.
But to be fair, it's one of these like crime thriller detective ones.
Right.
So they're not necessarily, there's like a broad thing that follows on, but it isn't necessarily that
You
important.
can get away with it.
Yeah. But apart from that, I enjoyed the overall story. I actually really liked Tanya Carver's writing. I actually picked up the first book in the series, The Surrogate. So I'm going to be reading that in the near future. The next book that I read was Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. I listened to this as an audiobook because basically I was looking for a book that had a considerable number of hours in it to get me through my working month. I had some problems with this book. It's very rapey, like unnecessarily so, I guess, yeah. Well, when is rape ever necessary, but that's beside the point. I pondered a long way through this book. I was like, do I continue with this series? Like, do I want to put myself through that? Because
Well,
there
you
was
did
some
at one
really,
point
really
say
annoying...
you're not going to, didn't
I
you?
know. And then we started to watch the series. And now I'm like, I need it all in my life. I need Outlander. I need tartan. I need, like...
Yeah, you've
we
literally
need to go to
got harem
Scotland.
and, like, tartan skirts and everything.
Guys, I'm ashamed of myself. But... oh
I
well.
have to make you make a dashing Jamie.
Yeah, if you guys saw our BookTubeAthon cosplay challenge, you can see me as Jamie Fraser. So that brings us to our readathon wrap-ups. We're gonna start off with well, we'll tell you what we read, and we'll tell you what challenges that they covered.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, this gets a bit confusing with the 2 readathons and all the challenges, and oh my god.
Yeah.
So.
Because some cross over, don't they, and some do more than one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the first one I read was A Flame in the Mist by Renee Adier. Put it this way, if I hadn't have read that first, I feel like I could have got more reading done.
Yeah.
That was... it had so much potential.
It did. This book really does have so much potential. Like, I mean, I read this later on in the readathon as well. Neither of us liked it.
But like you said, how can somebody write a story about samurais and make it boring and shocking? Like, samurais are so cool.
Yeah. Like, there's a whole culture in there that so much was promised and not delivered on. I was like, what is even happening?
Like, fair, it put me in a bit of a reading slump, but then I had to continue. But the challenges that met was it from the Biannual Bibliothon, it met the group book, and in the BookTubeAthon it met the hyped book as well. The second book I read was A Boy in Striped Pyjamas, and this one I quite liked actually. I liked its childlike innocence, but obviously it's such a historical, like...
It's a horrible period of history.
It is, it's terrible. I think like you still get the brutality of it, but...
Through a child's eyes.
Yeah, and I think like I quite liked that take on it. Do you know what I mean? It was a very easy read. Did I read it in a day? Oh no, I didn't read it in a day because I started early, didn't I?
Yeah.
Could have read it in a day. No, but I really liked it. It was an okay one. But yeah, it got me, I could read it. Don't know, it was alright.
I think it's hard as well because you were in a reading slump from Flame in the Mist, and then to read that one after it, at least it was something easy to get you carrying on reading.
Yeah, because it majorly put me in a slump, that Flame in the Mist did. Like, I really didn't enjoy it. Really, really didn't enjoy it, so I feel like I needed just a quick, easy read, and this was it. So the challenges that this met was from the Biannual Bibliothon. It met read from the host's favourite genre, which was historical fiction. It also met a book to movie adaptation, and it also met, a book with a person on the cover for the BookTubeAthon. The third book I read was Heartless by Marissa Meyer, and this is a retelling of the Queen of Hearts and how she became the Queen of Hearts. It was very slow to begin with, and I think really if you'd have knocked like 100 and 150 pages out of it, it would have been perfect.
Right, okay.
There was just bits in the middle that happened again and again. And it's like, does that really need to happen again? I don't really think it does. I think you could have picked it up by now. But oh no, he's going to do it again as well. He's going to do it again. So it's like, okay. So it's sort of dragged, but there were parts of it that I did like. As always, her world building is great. Like, I think she took Alice in Wonderland and literally, it was Alice in Wonderland. Like, the whole world, it had so many aspects of it in, and it felt real to Alice in Wonderland, which I really enjoyed because I quite like that world. I think it's very interesting, and I think Marissa Meyer does do such a good job on that. But yeah, I like the Lunar Chronicles are one of my faves. I wouldn't put it on par with that, but it was okay. It was okay. So for the Biannual Bibliothon, the challenges this met was a throwback, which was to read a retelling. It also met a book you've seen somewhere other than YouTube because you saw it from YouTube, but she got it me as a gift, so technically I cheated because I didn't see it on YouTube. And also from the BookTubeAthon, it met a book you brought for the cover because, I mean, it's beautiful.
Right, you would have bought it for the cover.
I generally would have. I would have seen the author, I would have seen the cover, and I'd be like, I need that in my life.
Yeah. Just so you know, guys, we're not just like staring at my crotch when we look down. We've got these little sheets that we filled out that have like all the challenges like crossed over on, so we know what they've covered.
The last book I read for these challenges was The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, and for some reason I always want to say The Curious Case of the Dog in the Nighttime. That just flows off my tongue. Yeah, as soon as I say The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, it just like blah, 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 blah.
Yes, it does.
So it does, like, so if I ever say The Curious Case of the Dog in the Nighttime, you know what book I'm on about. But I just really enjoy this story. Like, I read it at school and enjoyed it, and then I read it and I remembered how much it just made me laugh. Like, I read you a snippet in that, and I was like, I just love like the simplicity of it, and I think, I don't know, it's a very easy read. You know, it's like everything with the difference in writing styles, because it's got pictures in it, it's got diagrams, it's got explanations, it goes off on huge tangents, and I just enjoy it, to be fair. I just really enjoy it. And
it's a change of pace as well, isn't it, from what you've been reading?
And I think I need it because, as much as I enjoyed Heartless, the book before, that again, it took me a long time to read it, didn't it? And I was just like, oh my god, it's dragging. So in a way, I'm sort of glad I took a break from Heartless to read this book, because I was finding it a bit, yeah. So this picked me up a little bit, and it gave me the motivation to finish Heartless, which I needed. I needed that boost, which this gave me. The challenges that this met was a banned book for the Biannual Bibliothon, and for the BookTubeAthon it was to finish a book in one day, and to finish a book outdoors, and a character which is very different from you. So I was quite sneaky with this one. I was good.
Yeah, you were good. You were very smart with your book choices.
Yeah, because I read 4 books, but I think there was only one challenge in each.
Yeah, in each readathon
that I didn't meet, which was to read 7 books, which was the BookTubeAthon, and then the Biannual Bibliothon was the LGBTQIA one, which was
A Fire and Stars.
A Fire and Stars.
Yeah.
Because that was going to be the last book I read.
Yeah, and there just wasn't any time.
But I feel like, because I'm reading Jurassic Park currently, so as soon as I finish Jurassic Park, that is going to be the next book to pick up. So good. Yeah, I really want to read it. So.
Okay guys, we might cut out because my battery on my camera is low, so I'm going to try and do this really quickly. And the first book that I read for the Biannual Bibliothon is A Fire and Stars by Audrey Colthurst. This book covered the challenge to read an LGBTQIA+ book, and oh my god, I love it. Oh my god, I love this book so much.
That's why I desperately need to read it.
I cried, I felt all the feels, I couldn't leave it till the next day so that it would count for the BookTubeAthon as well, because I just had to know what happened. I'm not going to go into too much detail because after you've read it we'll probably do a review on this.
Yes.
So yeah, I really enjoyed this book a lot. The second book that I read for both readathons was Cat's Cradle by Kurt Vonnegut. I didn't like this book, guys. It was not my style. The writing is quirky and odd, and I get it. Like, I get why so many people like it. I just didn't. I was bored the whole time, and I just didn't have a good time with it. So the only challenge that this covered up was a banned book for the Biannual Bibliothon, and it went towards one of the 7 books for the BookTubeAthon. The next book that I read was Flame in the Mist by Renee Ahdieh. Obviously, we have discussed that we did not like this book. We may, in fact, do a review on this book.
I feel like we need to, because people pump it up so much, and it's like me.
It's not worth the hype. Yeah, we'll do a little review on this, and we'll share our feelings. This covered off the hyped book for the BookTubeAthon and the group book for the Biannual Bibliothon. The next book I read was She's Never Coming Back by Hans Koppel. I wanted to read something different. This was a crime thriller, kind of weird Swedish thing that kidnapped lady and all that sort of jazz thing. It was very different from the other books that I read, and I was really happy for that because I kind of sped right through it. And I've read something by Hans Koppel before. I didn't like it as much as I like this one. I enjoyed this one a lot more. People made less stupid decisions. I don't know. Yeah, it was an interesting book, and it left me with some really conflicting feelings, which I really enjoyed. This book covered off a book that I've seen somewhere else in YouTube because I found it in the bookshop that I used to work in, like ages ago, and I just never read it yet. It also covered off the book that I bought for the cover, because I did buy it for the cover, and a character that's very different from you, because literally all the characters are very different from me, and like, oh my god, there's like one guy that's just like literally called a crybaby about 1 million times. There is a woman who is just mental. There are some like murderers, like revenge murderers, and like kidnappers and rapists, and I am none of those things. So yay! The next book I read was for the Going Outside to Read challenge, because we had to pick something quite short. You picked Curious in Case of... She's got me doing it!
You do too!
It's your fault.
I know.
Curious Incident, Dog in the Nighttime. I picked Warhorse by Michael Morpurgo. I found this really unusual because it's written from the point of view of a horse. Like, that's very strange to me. It took me a while to get into it, and then I was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about it, and then I was like sobbing because, you know, World War II and dead animals. I did like it by the end. I definitely thought the film was better though. It just made me feel...
Film, can you?
Yeah. The film is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it just made me feel all the feels, and the emotion was so much more vividly there in the film than the book, and I don't say that very often.
Yeah.
This covered the book to movie adaptation for the Biannual Bibliothon, but it also covered the book that we finished outdoors and the book that I read in one day. So, yay. Then I read Wicked Lovely by Melissa Marr, and I just love it so much. It's so one of my favourites. I genuinely have been wanting to reread it for so long, and I'm so happy.
We talk about Wicked Lovely all the time in that, series.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
If you like fairies, if you like YA, fantasy, urban fantasy, read this book.
Yes.
Read this series. I love this series. This covered off the read from a host favourite genre, which I chose urban fantasy. It also covered the throwback challenge, which was to read a book with winter in it. Very unseasonal.
Yeah.
For the Biannual Bibliothon, and for the BookTubeAthon, it covered a book with a person on the cover. Yes, I'm going with that because, there's a mouth and hands. And also it covered off another book that I read in one day.
Yeah.
I managed to read 2 books in one day. So that's good.
I mean, you were on a roll with yours. You read
that last day, I was like...
I was like, no, it's not happening.
So that actually led to me completing all 7 of the Biannual Bibliothon challenges. Yay! Whoop. I managed to just sneak that in with that last one. And then to finish off my BookTubeAthon challenge, even though I was mentally drained and dying on the Sunday, I read The Wit and Wisdom of Tyrion Lannister by George R.R. Martin. It's basically a collection of Tyrion's quotes, and I'm not even ashamed that I read it, guys. I was finishing that challenge.
That's pretty cool.
It was happening, yes. They're slightly less witty than they would be just in Game of Thrones. But yeah, it's very good. Oh, I totally forgot to mention, I also finished Game of Thrones that week. Like, as another book towards that. Yeah, I finished the audiobook of Game of Thrones. I listened to a good 14 hours of it, so I'm counting that. That's happening.
Yeah.
And that leads to me having finished all of the BookTubeAthon challenges as well.
Yeah.
And you finished 6 out of both of them.
Yeah.
So I think that we did quite a good job.
Yeah, to be fair, I didn't think I'd be able to do that, so I'm happy.
Genuinely impressed. So I read 13 books this July, which is madness, and don't expect that to happen again because, my gosh, my brain died.
You're even up in your reading challenge, aren't you?
I know, I've only got 5 books left on my reading challenge because at the beginning of this year I thought I was only going to read 36 books, and I'm on 31, so I think I need to move that.
Yeah. I read 5 books this month.
Considering how much work you had to do.
Yeah. I'll let myself off a little bit. I feel like during the thingy I was being a bit harsh on myself for reading 4 books, but I'm happy with what I did.
Yeah, so that was our wrap up for July. It's a bit late, but that's what happens when you're tired. Yeah, so if you enjoyed, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, let us know how you did with your challenges, if you took part in either readathon. Let us know if you read any of the books and have any similar feelings towards them, because I'd be very interested to know if we're the only ones that hated Flame in the Mist.
I feel like it could happen though. I feel like everyone else is going to be like, oh, it's awesome. But
it wasn't awesome. No, not awesome at all. So yeah, we've not really got much more to say. My camera's about to run out of battery, so we'll see you next time.
See you later.
Bye.